Alright, hello and welcome anyone who's watching to Crucible Season 13, Week 3. We're currently sitting in the lobby, waiting for the two teams to gather, and these are the two teams we are going to have for this week.
So yes,
we've got
welcome everyone. The two teams are team number 1, Rapid Reflux, which is currently sitting on the blue team, and team 2, which is Fish and Fish, on red.
Yeah, and currently the map is Aileron Affray, but as we know, in Crucible, that is subject to change if the teams should decide so.
If I'm not mistaken, the legendary map of Canyons isn't on the list of suggested maps, so that's likely going to be the first thing on everyone's mind.
Yeah, because right now we're on Aileron Affray, the bigger, uglier cousin of Canyons, not as popular. Still missing a fair bit of both teams as we move on to event time, actually.
Well, sadly we have no choice but to wait for these folks. I only know about one person, really, that's missing. And as mentioned, something about the condition.
Yeah, so let this serve as a public service announcement. Time is money, friend.
Yes, indeed. And just a reminder, by not showing up on time, not only wasting everyone else's time, but also delaying the event entirely. So currently red team is missing only one person, blue is missing 2.
Yeah, luckily though, since we only have two teams, once they're gathered, events should be moving along very smoothly.
Hopefully. Alright, so basically we are in a position to start the event off. Granted, however, I would like some choice words with the lobby. Alright, now the lobby's in full effect. Now begun with the map votes.
And we've got one vote for Alaron, actually, the map we're on currently.
Interesting. Well, I was ready on the timer, for God's sake.
Alright, and it seems like Red Team didn't make a response, and so Alaron it is.
Indeed.
Rareform, thank you so much for the 100 bits.
And here's the last missing person. Now all is fine. Hopefully.
Yeah, we've got the lobby timer on, and so the lobby games can begin officially.
A reminder to all crew, as much as your opinion matters, it doesn't matter for map votes, sadly. That is down to the pilot's preferences.
So we're seeing Fishy of the Fish and Fish opting for the goldfish.
Well, there are two fishies on the same ship. I cannot imagine the confusion going on in the voice chats. So whenever someone says fish, it's gonna be confusing.
Yeah, a whole lot of fish on the red team. Now we're seeing the lighthouse brought out, a ship we've seen many times before on the Crucible, actually.
Yes, indeed. This time sporting a lumberjack. Blue team currently opting for a Corsair Crusader combination.
Which, Crusaders we've seen a whole lot of. Corsairs, they are far and few between, actually, in my experience.
Yes, indeed. Corsairs are somewhat uncommon. However, after the recent balance discussion surge, I think many people are attempting to pick up a little bit more on the Corsair business.
Yeah, there seems like change might be around the corner, and so trying your luck with a whole host of different ships might just prove very useful in times like these.
Well, then again, most people in Crucible tend to fly the thing they're most used to have the best performance. Although for some, Crucible is also a bit of a laboratory in which to experiment the more wacky and utilitarian loadouts you don't normally see in SCS.
Now we're down to the last minute of the timer. Ships are almost locked.
And now the lock is on.
Alright, so we're seeing a Spire and a Goldfish versus a Crusader and a Corsair. Could become a very interesting game.
Both sides sticking to what they had picked originally.
Pyromantic in chat hoping to see a front art. Not very unlikely.
Front what in the... Oh, front Artemis. Yeah, highly unlikely. Oh, for God's sake. Nobody's readying up. The button has been enforced.
And so we head on into Alon Afray for the first match of Crucible Season 13, Week 3.
Yes, indeed, with both teams duking it out for the first time. As a reminder to the operating procedure of a two-team Crucible, 5 matches, with a small break after match 3.
It's a bit shorter than usual, however, nonetheless just as exciting as usual.
Yes, indeed.
Alright, so here we are. I'm going to start us off with the Lighthouse, a ship we've seen before, piloted by Mosine. Sporting one upper Artemis with an upper Gatling. Then you've got a flak on the lower deck along with the Lumberjack. Then we've got the FFS Panzer, a fish piloted by Fishy. It's a Carafish. Whoa! With a right side Flamer, left side Banshee, and a back Carronade.
Meanwhile, we have ship number 3 on the blue team. To be fair, the most original name imaginable, piloted by Where Am I? It is a Corsair with a front Lumberjack, a right side Flamer Watcher combo with a left side Gat Watcher, and a back Harpoon. And ship number 4, the CS Heligebuff. Pardon my German. Piloted by Travel, it is a Crusader with a front Watcher Carronade combination with mid-deck flags and top-deck Gatlings. Your standard old affair of Crusader.
Alright, so looking at the map here, we see both teams heading towards the middle. No one's really staying behind.
We already have a great start of an interesting Ring Around the Rosie match. Of course.
So we might have the Lighthouse now spotting the Crusader with any luck through the middle here.
Yes,
and there we go, spots are out.
Go out. So now both sides are actually not going to go in a big circle around the map. Hopefully.
The spots actually went out, and we might see the middle here as the battleground of choice.
Of note, F home, there's no flares or mines in this match. No one has any of those.
So is the To Be Fair moving in here a bit, sporting their own lumber. Both teams do sport some long range, however, the Panzer wants to get in there and do some brawling.
Sadly, it's already popped. Lumberjacks do good work on that balloon. To Be Fair flying past them. And I was expecting a harpoon, really.
Yeah, we see the lighthouse might just be a little bit exposed here as they're in between the two ships. However, the Crusader is not really in any position to fight them.
Currently, it seems like, to be fair, wants to get a good Huacha and goes out, and oh my, that was not a good Huacha. Completely missed the lighthouse.
Low
got
balloon
clipped a
on
bit.
almost every ship here. So a very awkward fight for most ships.
The only ship that really can't be popped that easily is the Helicopter, which, just as I was talking, got popped.
They do have some innate protection, but as soon as they opt to go for the burst ammo, they might just get that flechette in on the balloon. Panzer going for a ram.
Low.
Very low.
Quite low, both in terrain and also in perma. On the Heiligenburg coming in for the sit, sacrificing a third of their perma already. Jeez, that wasn't worth it.
Yeah, so we got 3 ships here stuck here. Panzer losing their balloon, however, they managed to get their armor up again. We're taking some serious damage.
And the buff is down. First go for it.
Yeah,
Although,
to be fair, not really getting out of there.
Yeah, they're not gonna get out of there. The lighthouse just being on them too much. The start was good for blue team, but then it all went haywire.
Yeah, I don't think that was a very good position down there for the blue team. The red team does have the brawling fish, and as such, being down in like a chasm like that is very dangerous for them.
Yes, indeed, and also that wasn't very conducive of well-being and ship strength. Going down and hitting the enemy ship. I mean, kind of worked a bit, but was it worth it? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think they had the start of that engagement. However, once they ended up down there and the Crusader went down there to help their friend, it all went haywire as they just got stuck and couldn't really fight back on the Spire. We've got a blue spawn in 7C.
The crux of the issue was indeed that both ships of blue team getting consistently popped and not being able to gain any altitude whatsoever.
Yeah, and altitude is going to be the name of the game here, as both red ships are sporting a way to pop their enemy, and the blue team does have that lumberjack.
Well, technically every ship in this matchup is carrying something to pop the enemy with. The only difference is the amounts of firepower and the range. With the buff actually carrying a bit of additional firepower with that watch on the front, and to be fair with its side watches as well. Meanwhile,
Yeah, so if the buff can get left alone, they can be a very serious threat. But I think red team dealt with them very efficiently. Spots are out.
Watches didn't do much. Perhaps
no, I don't think we've seen any clean Hawacha hit yet in this game so far.
Oh yeah, sadly we haven't. Lighthouse looking for a bit of a attack on the side of, to be fair, which is now charging in without a balloon.
Yeah, we see the healing above going for the Panzer. Oh, and the ram might be really nasty.
My. Nasty ram, to be fair, down to 50%, but once again, was it worth it? Now they're exposed to a Watcher from the buff, which misses.
To be fair, struggling to get back into the game here as they're suffering from some flame damage. They just lost their balloon again.
Meanwhile, the Panzer taking a bit of fire from the buff, which is on fire at the moment.
Yeah, the healing above not looking good here as they're about to lose their hull and smack into the ground, and down they go.
Ow, ouch. And the Corsair wants to get left alone to face off against 2 red ships. And they're about to get... No, they just bumped the terrain.
Yeah, they do have a chance at some perma there, but they don't really have the arcs to support that right now. However, the fish!
That was beautiful! My god!
What a turnaround there, as the little bump.
That ship was expecting that. Good grief!
Yeah, that was a tiny little bump into the wall, and the fish just spazzed out.
And disintegrated, good god! That was brutal. My commendations to the ship.
To be fair, might actually be making it out of here now as the Healing is coming in from the side.
This is blue spawn, sorry.
We see the Watchers going out.
Red spawn, as the Panzer has also respawned. The Lighthouse currently under 5-2 blue ships, though.
And the Panzer will be coming in, however, it will take a while. Probably not in time to save their ally here.
The Lighthouse was broken. Broken again. No flags. To be fair, rescuing flags for a ram. A bit too early of a ram, though. Well, they do tear
the
off
armor absorbed most of that.
That lighthouse is still not doing good, though, but it's gonna live for a tiny bit.
Yeah, we see the Panzer opting to run out of there again. They've lost hope that they could save their ally. Probably a good choice, because otherwise a meat grinder would start.
Red team still has the advantage of 3 kills, and to be fair, almost a wreck of a ship.
Yeah, the lighthouse now sporting no components on the entire ship.
Well, they still have their balloon. Oh, wait. And another ram. The brains are off, and the brains were successfully turned off enough of the ram.
Yeah. Fish is still waiting patiently around the corner here.
They are waiting for their ally to come back. Blue team needs to capitalize on this, but then again, they likely won't be able to. This is a big map and a lot of spawns. You really can't accurately predict where your enemy is going to be at most of the time.
Yeah, they probably have no idea that the fish is just around the corner there.
Both ships have respawned.
Yeah, so we're seeing both of them choosing the southeastern spawn.
Red team now cautiously approaching to the whereabouts of blue team's last position. Meanwhile, blue team's already trailed off to somewhere else.
So they're just about gonna miss each other here. Now they should know that that Corsair is really, really weak and a prime target to try and focus down in the upcoming fight.
And again, so is the Crusader with its little bit fragility. Good flak or two,
so
and that thing's gone.
Could be argued they have about the same amount of health.
Well, yeah, to be fair, the To Be Fair ship has less perma.
Yeah, they do.
Once they lose their armor, it's gonna be a goodbye, most likely.
Now, red team picking up the pace here as they notice that the blue team is gone and they should be getting the spots, and they do.
Yeah, it's going out, and spots are going out on the red team as well. Both sides see each other, and the duel has begun again. Duels, to be precise.
Yeah, to be fair, immediately losing their balloon. They're looking to be in a bit of a bad position here as the Gatling comes in.
also lost balloon, and the Burf as well. The Panzer is the only unpopped ship in this engagement. For now.
Yeah, we're seeing the lighthouse. They brought their drog chute. They're shooting down on the To Be Fair. However, they are firing back.
To be fair, not looking good, to be fair.
Yeah, however, the armor is looking really fine. It's about halfway now. Too many flame stacks to actually keep it up, but they managed to get those away. Losing balloon again, though.
Goodbye. The Borf is now left alone against the menacing Panzer. And that's the wrong. Granted, they could be able to pick up the skill. No flags, though. We're seeing a chronic lack of flags from the Borf.
Yeah, and down goes the armor. No real explosive follow-up right now. However, they don't have a balloon.
Sit on them. Looks like that Spire wants to shank that Borf. Oh, yeah, they're shanking it.
Ooh.
Oof.
Only
it almost
one
worked.
working engine on the Panzer, though, as they lose the armor.
It flees, but the lighthouse is poised for the kill with its Gatling armed and its flag at the ready, and that's a ram kill.
Alright, so red team taking home the first victory.
Yes, currently in a brutal 5-2.
However, blue team almost had that little bit of a turnaround there when the fish went up in smoke.
Yeah, I have to say that was a little bit of a crazy encounter, but to be honest, red team couldn't change up their strategies much, and beyond that, they were always on the back end. They were always found first. They had no initial advantage. Constantly being up at arms against the red team. Also, standard operating procedure of two teams. Side swap after every match. Now, next map will be Derelict Deception, unless the teams vote for something else, of course. And so we shall begin with match 2. Same teams, of course, same teams. Rapid Reflux now on red, Efficient Fish now on blue. To be honest, I wouldn't really call a Goldfish a Panzer, to be honest. Especially since Panzers are usually ground-based vehicles. Once again,
and
Turkey.
arguably not too fast.
Yes, completely doesn't match. And once again, Turkey, your opinion sadly does not matter in the voting process of map votes. Only pilots. It seems blue team is completely indifferent to the map, as now we're doing Derelict.
Alright, so once again, 4-minute lobby timer active.
Well, now it's active. Alright, sticking to Derelict. Red team opting now for a Magnate. That just makes them more open to the pops, really. Bigger the balloon, the easier it is to hit.
Yeah, so both Magnet and Corsair having really big and juicy. Now we've got 2 Magnate on the red team. Really big and juicy balloons. However, they do also host a whole lot of firepower on those platforms.
Yes, indeed, they can stay in there long enough to keep the enemy down, then might work. Of note, however, is that we haven't seen an art thing yet. I think now might actually be a good time for those in the blue team, but I shouldn't be commenting about that, right? Oh, for God's sake. Apparently I skipped one of the minutes. Time flies. My apologies to the match. Sometimes things happen.
So, blue team still seem very happy with their Spire and Goldfish combo.
Well, it certainly worked for them last time, but will it work for them again? Or will red team finally crack the code of victory? Oh, blue has changed the ship name.
However, those do not need to get to be called out.
Of course
You're
not.
perfectly fine changing your ship name without telling the organizer.
Well, those callouts but changes are actually more for the convenience of the other team and less about the me aspect, so that everyone knows that there has been a change. After all, you don't want to suddenly see that the enemy ship is somehow turned into a different one. And there was no announcement about it.
Yes, as we do have a very complicated and highly controversial game of rock, paper, scissors going on right here, right now.
It's less about rock, paper, scissors. Well, kind of is actually, but at the same time, I feel like they're playing rock, paper, scissors every 5 minutes.
Yeah, so you got the rock, paper, scissors. However, there's more than 40 options, and no one's really sure about what beats what.
Yes, indeed. I was thinking more along the lines of nobody's changing their strategies much.
Yeah.
No, actually, I'm wrong. Red team did change a bit, changing from Corsair Crusader combination to a double magnate. Now I'll have to push the button. I sort of don't want to really. The button gods are already angered at this blatant misuse of their powers. Well, apparently I will have to.
And there we go. Derelict Deception. A map consisting of basically just 2 long lines down the middle.
One of them has a roof. Don't forget about that
Yeah.
one. The other one is rocks.
And lots of them.
Still annoys me on this map, you can see the walls. Even though they're not there in the playable area.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start us off with the Minty Breeze. Piloted by... where am I? On the right side we're sporting a Carronade along with a Gatling and a Flak, and on the left side we're seeing a Hades, Flak and Lumberjack. Then we've got the CS Flamboyante both. Piloted by Trevel. On the right side we're seeing a Gatling, Flak and Carronade. And on the left side a Laser, an Artemis, and another Carronade, or is that the other Carronade, the one that does the long-range stuff?
That's not Nemesis. That's a regular Carronade.
Alright.
I have no idea why they would be opting for that. Ship number 3, the Lighthouse, spelled by Mosen. It is already under fire and is a balloon-popped spire with an armor break and a frontal lumberjack. A Flak, Gatling, and an Artemis. And ship number 4 is the FFS Fish and Chips. Piloted by Fishy, it is a goldfish with the front carronade, and a side flamer with another side, the left side, having a double banshee combination.
Yeah, so the Lighthouse managed to get out of the attention of the double magnates, and is now currently very low, firing back.
Meanwhile, the Boff is on fire. About to get double broken. And actually, no, they do get them out in time. The fish and chips boops on terrain, though.
Yeah, the fishing ships did a really good job of distracting the double magnate and saving their ally, because if that attention would have kept up, the spire would have surely fallen. Flamboyante not looking good.
It already lost half its perma to terrain, losing more in the ensuing chaos. Another boop, and more armor and hull goes away with it. Buff literally cannot fight this fish.
Yeah, they do have a Carronade to try and get the counter pops, but they're really not getting them as they get crushed against the rocks here.
They don't really get arcs much. Also, first give for Bloom.
Yeah, the Lighthouse not really in a good position. However, now Minty Breeze is alone and the fishing ships is on their way back.
A recommendation to the buff. Stop turning your front to the fish. You can pop him with your carronades and then he'll be in the same boat you are. Granted, you're still being cooked by the flamer, that is. The Minty Breeze now feeling the wrath of the flamer as well. Cooked engines don't operate faster, sadly. And is now getting rammed slowly but surely. Actually, no. No, they're just gone by the flax.
Yeah, so very heavy balloon pressure from the blue team once again, just like we saw first match.
Yes, indeed.
Now the Flamboyante...
Lighthouse is wounded. Oh, they're charging the Borf.
Yeah, and this is their spawn, so another red ship could pop up just about anywhere right now.
Just about any moment. Lumberjack shots go out.
If they can get the both weak enough, that ally is gonna have a hard time helping in this fight.
The Minty Breeze has respawned. Yeah, a bit too early of a spawn there. This is a really close range toe-to-toe map. The Borf now down to... Oh my, the third of its perma again.
A really good flax from the lighthouse.
Meanwhile, the lighthouse broken and flax. Successful kill. Minty Breeze gets the kill. Fish and Chips now still trying to wedge the Borf somewhere.
I think the spy would have needed to secure a much better position because they knew that that other ship was going to spawn in.
Fish and Chips boops to rain. Flax go out. Miss a bit. They weren't expecting.
Yeah, the real question is here: can they take the booth with them?
They most likely can't. That ship is in a deplorable state, and now it's no longer a ship.
And so we're looking at a 2-2. However, the booth very damaged from getting rushed.
Yeah, Red Team's blitz did work out a bit. Granted, however, the end result was indeed in Red's favor. I've noticed that Blue Team is better at long range. They have that Spire. But then again, this would technically be Red Team with their Artemai and Lumberjacks.
Yeah, if they manage to get a lock on that Spire, they could be looking really good for a long-range engagement.
The main issue, that fish isn't gonna let them. And rightfully so. As we saw in the last match, with the fish exclusively focusing on the buff.
We're seeing both teams moving very casually or cautiously along the outer stretch here. Fish and Chips moving up a bit.
The reason to be cautious, and so does Blue Team. The Fish and Chips has made spots and is now spotted itself. The Lighthouse, however, still in blue spawn.
Yeah, with the weaponry that Red Team is sporting, Fish and Chips might be a very hard target to hit as long as they keep that speed going.
The Minty Breeze is exclusively ignoring the Fish and Chips, letting the Borf handle it.
The Lighthouse still not spotted, even if they're standing in plain view. There we go. Alright, spots out on all ships.
The Borf still clinging to its front weaponry. Oh, now they're turning their side carronades out. Fangs are out, and the Minty Breeze is now popped instead.
Lighthouse popped. They're putting out the drog chute. However, the Fish and Chips now taking a lot of damage.
They are not doing good. Oh, but flags go out into the Fish and Chips.
That is a whole lot of damage. Minty Breeze not looking good either, though.
Fast. Or else Minty Breeze is gonna go falling apart. And oh, so close.
And they lose the armor again.
Flags late. The Borf now broken and gets eaten up by the almost. The Fish and Chips goes down first, but the Borf itself is also not doing good.
And there we go, out goes the booth. So now we're looking at a fight between the Lighthouse and the Minty Breeze. They're very close to red spawn.
Blue Team, I think, realized this and is attempting to back out with the Lighthouse, so actually maybe not. They're going in for the kill. However, this just became a quick exchange. The Minty Breeze just simply said no to the Lighthouse balloon. Right.
We'll see if the Lighthouse can manage to get the pop right back.
Oh, but the flags
going out, and there they go.
Lovely, lovely pre-fire there. The lighthouse picks up the kill.
Yeah, now the booth is
anyone's game.
out and the fish and chips is already on them.
Yes, a bit of an aggressive rush here trying to get the lighthouse, but the fish and chips is already on the scene and making their life a nightmare. Thus, this rush is a complete failure for them. Don't be so aggressive, because this is the last death and you're about to die, Porf, sadly.
So they don't have much time in here now as the Minty Breeze moves
There is
in.
no survival for that magnate. It is a goodbye to it.
Booth needs to tank that hull right now, but the flags come in and it is too late.
Yes, a bit too of an aggressive respawn there. And so, Efficient Fish wins again. Rapid Reflux currently lost 2 matches. However, the points are a bit better this time with a 5-3 instead of a 5-2. Perhaps next time they'll get a 5-4, or maybe it's going to be backwards. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean they did a little bit better this time around, I think, with the magnates. So they are feeling the way around, and I think they're starting to figure out how to beat this combo of the Spire and the fish.
There is still room for improvement, however. Next map is a open one. Fjords. Of note is that blue team is consistently voting for the recommended map, and red team's letting them pick it.
So we'll see now if red team opts to actually vote. Or maybe they're just also happy with the map pick, and as such have no need to really vote.
I'm kind of shocked that nobody's picked Canyons yet. Obviously a fan favorite. Perhaps they're saving it for a map they like less than Fjords.
Or they're just holding it out for the finals, because they know they want to have the map they want at that point.
Well, technically this is the finals, effectively, because if red team wins this match, they've won the entire event. Sadly, however, the show must go on. Blue team still gets a chance to fight those points, even if they lose this one. And time's up. Okay, fine. Next. I mean, hey, nobody's preventing you from doing the coin flip. I can do it yourself if you care about it so much.
Coin flip is a fan favorite.
Sometimes. Especially when the bot is somewhat biased towards one side.
Dolly, thank you so much for that salty little bit.
Red team once again sticking to what they know best, the old combination. Blue team still attempting to roll with their magnates, double magnates.
So we'll see if they stick with this or if they need to change something up. It is a different map from our last one, a bit of a higher ceiling, so they could be taking higher fights.
Also, a bit more open. Actually, depends on the point of view. Of note, however, is that the blue team bias is still in effect, so blue team gets the advantage of the arch.
And now we see the Spire swapped out for a Corsair.
Interesting, going for the aggressive rams. Or perhaps Mosin was just bored and wanted something different. We'll never know.
Because now we're seeing red team very much a brawling team at this point if they stay with what they've got.
Yes, indeed, they're letting red team have the longer range advantage. For now. Unless the blue team decides to change... Oh, now we have an Artling on the field. The return of the Artling.
Double Artling even.
Oh. The ultimate blitzkrieg mode. Now we see a Junker from red team. We're an amalgamation of Flamers, Banshees, and Carronades.
So a very unorthodox ship, however, you don't want to get caught in that, because the flames could prove a very big headache.
Oh yeah. But a bit of chem spray and it helps a bit. Carronade's still going to do some damage, I suppose those Banshees.
Yeah, if they do bring the chem spray, I think it's a matter of attrition at that point. They need to do enough damage where they can't really get the chem spray into their rotation anymore.
Well, once they start to get popped, then chem spray can be tossed in between the breaks. Just they get that extra durability. Oh, red team has opted for a Crusader. And we have a ship lock.
Alright, so Junker Stormbreaker versus double Pyramidians.
Well, this will certainly be interesting. Knowing that Junker's gonna be flanking around both of those things and just letting rip.
I mean, I think the game plan with that Junker is to just get it in there. Once it's in there, it's gonna be able to do some damage while the Stormbreaker runs around and harasses.
Basically that. Well, blue team's hopes that they can rush someone down and melt them to cotton candy with a couple of combined Artemis. Alpha lava. You're really angering the machine spirits today. I understand you don't have time for readying up, but please, a matter of courtesy. Apparently a minute was asked.
Was that the same moment that we loaded in?
Yeah, but sadly we can't do much about that, especially when I call for pilots to ready up 10 seconds before. And up time. Okay. Oh, if I could type.
Alright, so we are paused.
Oh, God. Alright.
I'm gonna start us off with the first ship, the Junker we talked about.
Going out.
Yeah, piloted by Mosin. So, this Junker was sporting a double carronade side with a Banshee on the front, and the other side Banshee Flamer. So a whole lot of fire stacks from this one ship. Complementing that is the Stormbreaker piloted by Fishy, the FFS Paper Bag. It's a Stormbreaker with a Gatling double Banshee side, so a whole lot of fire stacks from that as well. Complementing it with a Watcher.
Red team, I did not announce the unpause and you started moving. Serious complaints. Also, to blue team, stop spotting during pauses. Thank you. Ship number 3 is the Serious Business, piloted by where am I? It's an Artling with the front Artemis Gatling side Flamer flag, and ship number 4 is CS Picklicket Buff, piloted by Treble. It is front Artemis Gatling Pyramidian with the side flag Carronade combo, also known as an Artling. Serious Business is a bit not good, and the buff is now being double focused.
Yeah, the Serious Business needs to get into position here because the booth is being very much isolated here by the 2 red ships.
Now they're just like sharks in the water, eating up the buff, charging in, eating a bit off, and then going back. And the
bucket list has been struggling to get up there. However, now here they are. As the buff goes down, the Serious Business now moving in, a prime target for the 2 red ships.
Too late, really. Oh, the paper bag's broken. No follow-up. They cannot perform that follow-up yet. Bucket list now engaging in close quarters, high-octane, action-packed combat against Serious Business, which just lost the balloon.
Yeah, we see those double light carronades just shredding that balloon once they get up on the side of that ship.
To be honest, the engagement started off with a good disable on the Serious Business, which just repeated itself as I was talking. Yeah, the Stormbreaker is doing a lot of punishment. Opening up the engagement for the bucket list, just swoop in, clean up, and that almost was a ram from my perspective. What would have been great was a ram. Instead, no, they
down they go.
Safe kill. They get the safe hill, and it's a 2-0.
Yeah, so the Banshee on its own doesn't do a whole lot of damage. However, when you stack up four of them across the whole team, if you focus fire those, ships are gonna go down.
In fact, one of the troll builds sometimes seen in pubs, a Penta Banshee Junker. Once you get 3 of them firing, it's a nightmare.
Booth and Serious Business opting to spawn in close here. Up in 5C. In plain view of the red team, we're moving in immediately.
The vapor bag now being pushed away a bit. Serious Business now locking onto the bucket list as 2 guns are now down. Is it enough to keep it safe though? As the bucket list just simply flies past them.
They're going very fast by Jungle standards.
Artemis Shout goes in.
They lose an engine as well. However,
yeah,
meanwhile, the paper bag and the booth fighting.
Well, currently the buff is basically a distraction, so that the Serious Business can eventually win against the bucket list, which they almost succeed at doing.
Very close right now for the bucket list. However, they get that armor up.
The bucket list attempting to go down balloon block bits. That tactic is working. Meanwhile, the paper bag actually losing the current engagement against the buff as it goes down completely.
Oh,
well done.
Very nice flak hits there from the booth.
Indeed. Meanwhile, the bucket list now broken. Flak pre-fire. Could have done better, but the buff comes in for the kill steal. Have you no shame?
Alright, so 2-2 for both teams as Blue does a whole reverse sweep here back to a tie with full permas on both ships.
Yes, indeed. When the engagement just 1v1s with both red ships fighting against an Artling, then the situation turns in the favor of blue team. Red team has to get those double focuses going. They want to isolate, remove one of the Pyramidians out of the fight, either by watches or a bit of popping action. And then
because the Artling, as it stands in a 1v1, they are very strong right now, hosting both kill potential and the disabling. They can 1v1 most ships in the game right now.
Yes, basically almost every ship, if you're not doing some sneaky squid stuff. In the meantime, the bucket list now engaging the Serious Business once again in a toe-to-toe Flamer versus Artemis action. Or Flamer versus Flamer Artemis action.
see the paper bag
list
trying to
loses a
sneak
lot.
in some Hawacha on the Serious Business engines. However, they failed to do so.
There's business going up, realizing they are now in mortal danger from the paper bag. Indeed, as they lose half their perma to Banshees. No, that's almost...
Even more!
no.
All of it!
Oh my! The paper bag,
However,
however,
paper bag
loses its
losing
armor.
hull.
But they get out with nothing more than a scratch.
They pulled off a really nice balloon block there, actually.
Yes, indeed. Currently, the buff is up high, attempting to evade. Once again, blue team manages to double focus on the Pyramidians, and the best is history.
Yeah, and even if they manage to survive here, I'm thinking, are they close enough to blue team spawn that their ally can come in and actually do a difference here?
They're
Or is
not.
that just inviting the meat grinder?
That is honestly just an invite to the conveyor belt snowball meat grinder fest. The buff has no chance of escaping this, and Serious Business is doing some long-range armor shots. Apparently
Because
they
even
don't
now, if the other blue ship was to engage in here, that ship is crippled to the point where they can't really make a combat, and the Serious Business has spawned in! And the red team should be able
They're
to
now
see
backing
them.
off extremely far, though. The buff hoping to get rescued by their ally, and that doesn't happen. As the Serious Business abandons their ally to the hungry wolves, currently on the prowl.
Yeah, and they do get a spot out on the paper bag. However, the paper bag does not really seem to see them in this clever little hiding place that they've got going on.
Hiding behind there, but the Serious Business somehow winds up being back there. And the buff spawns out in the open. Red team immediately sees this and is most likely going to act on it.
Yeah, Serious Business
That's
getting
a risky
stuck as they
spawn,
attempt to join their ally. So they're gonna be a bit late here now.
Forces them into the open and allows red team to get that double focusing again. Granted, blue is taking from red's book and is now double focusing the paper bag. It now has down 2 engines and they're actually rushing it.
Yeah, I don't think they're making it out of there with that lack of engine. No, and now the bucket list is stuck in the blue team spawn. They've got a long way to go until they're safe.
They're fleeing.
Yeah, we've seen the bucket list actually moving really fast for a junker. However,
Yes,
the Serious Business is sporting moonshine. But we've got a kerosene drift sail combo here, meaning they can go really fast if they want to.
And they are indeed doing so, as they have managed to get a good getaway. And the paper bag has respawned. Granted, however, are engaging quite early. The paper bag is still not in position. They're not going to have full buffs or anything once they come into the engagement. Double focus.
We see the bucket list moving in low as they absorb most of the Gatling fire with the balloon at the moment.
Yes, indeed. Now they've picked out the Serious Business. Question is, will the buff continue to harass the bucket list or watch for the paper bag, which is now
We're
currently...
seeing 20 stacks on the armor. However, they do have an extinguisher on that ship, luckily for them.
Serious Business on fire and flaming. Oh, the paper bag comes in for the rear watcher.
However, the bucket list taking a bit too much damage here as they are down
Serious
to 1 or 2
Business
flak
out of
shots.
engines, out of order. Currently, the Serious Business is screwed, as the paper bag is now capitalizing on this, and here go the double Banshees.
And they just managed to get it up. However, they don't have any engines, so they are going to go down.
Goodbye. And goodbye. It's another 5-3, and officially, the Fish and Fish team has already won. A valiant effort, rapid reflux, but you have successfully, well, sadly failed.
However, teams can still go for the long con if we look at individual players to try and raise their place in the leaderboards.
Yes, indeed. There's still the chance to get more and more points, the important stuff. So yes, now we are getting into the pause. Sorry, Ad, the engineers union does not worry about payment plans. I only worry about ample lunch breaks, for dinner breaks or breakfast.
And it seems like blue team is opting for no break.
I guess I can still load out the next match. Which will be Bolivian South. No, Turkey, don't leave the lobbies in order to play PvE. Unless you're referencing speedrunning, in which case, still don't. Oh, looks like we're doing no pauses then. Right, on to the bitter end. So, I'm actually interested what blue team will do at this point. Fish and fish team. They have all rights to just continue doing what they're doing, get those points, but they can also try to get a bit more knowledge of the experience. Try something more experimental. Now the stakes are less prominent.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen them dominating so far. And the question is if they won't just loosen up a little bit, knowing that they've already got this in the bag. However, like we said, some players might be playing for the long con, going for those points.
Oh, we have a historical moment in Canyons votes. Yes, Canyons it is. And here I thought we were going to do an actual Crucible without Canyons. How? Well then, anyways. The lobby timer is now on. Currently looks like blue team is opting for the Yolden combination. Well, not Yolden, but their last match's combination of Junker Stormbreaker. Red team going for the experimental Spire Stormbreaker approach. That's a Hwacha Spire with a Hwacha Stormbreaker, banking on those Hwachas.
Yeah, I mean, the Spire in this situation is really good at dealing with the Stormbreaker, I'd say. They do have the turn speed to keep up with them, and if that Hwacha hits, the Stormbreaker is in a world of trouble.
I can attest to the pain of getting Hwacha'd on a Stormbreaker. Granted, however, the blue team won't have to suffer that pain, as they're now opting for their own Goldfish, a Blinder. This still hasn't disheartened red team, however now there's a Crusader on the blue team. Red team deciding to ready up early. Or at least one of the ships. Never mind. Just when I was hoping, a non-button match.
We're getting down to the last minute of the timer, as we're seeing red team sticking with that Spire and Stormbreaker versus the blue team's Goldfish and Crusader.
Of note, however, is that the Stormbreaker is now sporting a carronade. Oh, now that's a Crusader. That was a bit of a sporadic change. However, if blue team wants that minute... Yeah, if you're gonna take the pause, call it out. I still have to reset the timer, for God's sake.
As we're looking at the additional minute now that can be granted if a change happened too close to the lockdown.
Changes before the lock. It's usually roughly in the 10 to 15 second margin. And no, technically, I only offered the minute. First comes the acceptance of the minute, then comes the change. Not vice versa. And now ships are locked. It's now time to see if people are actually going to ready up. The answer is no. No, the machine spirits are going to scream at me for this.
Alright, so Canyon Ambush, a map very much expected out of at least every Crucible, I think.
Basically. Nowadays, you can't do a Crucible without Canyon Ambush. And neither can you SCS, but then again, in SCS you don't have a choice in the maps.
So, starting us off with the Skyboat, piloted by Where Am I? It is a Crusader boasting a right side Minotaur, Flak and Gatling, with a left side Carronade, Flak and Gatling.
That is indeed a nemesis. Also, I do like the Queen Paint. I have a similar one.
And then we've got the CS Hugo Both, piloted by Treble. We've got some upper deck Gatlings, 2 of them. Then you've got a Flak on the lower deck along with a Watcher.
Meanwhile, ship number 3 is the bucket list piloted by Mosen, which is already shooting its right side Gatling flag combo with front Banshee and left side Carronade Banshee combination, and a Zennoch Watcher. Ship number 4 is the FFS Fish and Chips piloted by Fishy. It's once again the fish with the front Carronade, side Flamer, and side double Banshee.
And so the Spire locked in a very awkward position.
Now they're stuck, and I don't think anything's going to happen to them. Glanced over, the Skyboat knocks the fish and chips back a bit, sacrificing a bit of their own perma as a result.
And now the Skyboat joining the both in the very awkward position down here between the pillars. The fish and chips going for a ram.
Knocks out its own hull in the process. And the Skyboat going up and up and up and over. And gets uppercut by the junker, losing a third of their perma. Good God.
There's a Skyboat in a very awkward position here. They did get a boost out of there, so we'll see if the blue team can manage to catch up to them.
That was an unintended sacrifice. They are now chased down by the fish and chips, which gets annoyed from the Minotaurs. Still, they're not gonna survive this. Bye.
Yeah, and there we go. It's a 2-0 for the blue team, and they haven't lost a single bit of perma so far.
Well, the armor has been broken on the fish and chips. It only lost it due to a boop. So
yeah,
yes,
a bit of heat in the moment there.
Blitzed them and just simply knocked everyone out of the competition again. The Spire was knocked out almost instantly, went down, and eventually fell apart. Blue team
Red team spawn here? Yeah, and blue team seems to be heading straight for them right now.
Yeah, they must have predicted the spawn. Although there was still the far west eastern spawn, the small nook.
Yeah, so whether this is intentional or not, we'll never really find out. However, spots are out on the fish and chips. We see the red team preparing here.
Showing its off the position of the fish and chips, but they've now whipped around and are moving in slightly, then getting popped into the result. Yeah, the buff currently struggles. Once it gets popped by the fish, it's over. It's gonna get screwed over by that junker. Meanwhile, the Skyboat opting to do nothing.
Yeah, they've joined the fight a little bit too late.
Was good, to be honest. They should have opted for something more close range, because that stands they're leaving their Spire ally and to weather in. And, well, it's not doing good, already losing a bit of its perma. Glanced over, it's surviving quite well, given the circumstances. Fish and Chips goes in for the ram and boops it into the terrain, and that is a goodbye to the both. Skyboat doing nothing once again. It's now left to face off with the bucket list.
Yeah, the Skyboat has really struggled to have an impact on the last fights we've seen. They have managed to get some Minotaur in, however, not enough to really get them off their ally.
The lack of close range instant effect weapons like the Watch and Carronade make this Crusader pick an odd one. A regular old Meta Crusader would work out against both enemy ships, as both ships have big balloons and they have a lot of juicy components you can watch it. But as it stands, they can't do at all anything. Just annoy with the flex of Minotaur. And perhaps the odd cannonball or two.
Yeah, now we're seeing both blue ships and the red team spawn, so trying to spawn now will be really awkward, as both blue ships will have a decent view of all spawns, barring the one up in the corner, hiding in the clouds.
Which blue team is most likely going to charge in the next few seconds. And red team is risking on running the timer of respawn.
Alright, and the booth has spawned in, opposite of where the blue team is currently headed.
Really, as blue team is predicting that they're gonna spawn that corner, but red team just bamboozled them. So a good choice of spawn.
Yeah, I think the right choice there would have been keeping one to keep an eye on all the spawns while sending one to just scout them out, because they could easily just back off and then they know exactly where they are.
Focus. If one of their ships gets caught out in the open, that is not going to be good for them, especially if the
that is the risk they run.
Out. Thus, it is sometimes a bit better to just stick together, and even if they spawn behind you, you'll know it eventually.
Yeah, now spots are out and the blue team is moving back.
Perhaps the engagement may finally wrap around. For red team, no, the fishing ships goes aggressive and knocks out the balloon at the above again. Bucket list comes out and spams its banshees away.
Now we see the fishing ships under some double focus. However, the skyboat is now occupied with the bucket list.
Meanwhile, the fishing ship's now broken and flagsmith. Whoop. That's it, they're not doing good again. They're popped again, no water arcs, and they're just gonna stick into the ground like a flagpole. Neither of the red ships are doing good. The skyboat just lost its armor, no permit though. Meanwhile, the buff is getting cooked ever so slightly.
They are doing a decent job given their position keeping the fish off of them. However, I think it's just a matter of time before the fishing ships manages to get this kill.
Indeed, already they have lost half their perma, and they're losing more of it as they've backed into a odd bit of terrain. And fires going off everywhere. They have no hope of escape at the moment as the blenderfish just closes in and doesn't even get the ram.
There comes the ram.
A clean 5-0 for the Fish and Fish team. As now they've claimed a significant lead over the red team. The rapid reflux. The final match will be taking place on Fernfeld, maybe. And so, the final match of this Crucible begins with the lobby, of course. Tunes is illegal. I see a Kinforth team vote. That's the time. So, Kinforth has indeed won. And now we shall start up the final timer.
So the final countdown commences as we move into the final match of this Crucible.
And we are seeing currently a Mobula, an extremely rare sight given the nature of so many aggressive ships. This one's a Pro Mobula actually, with 2 Banshees of Flames and a Carronade Rogue God. I myself actually have fond memories of playing in one Crucible where I was piloting a Crusader with an ally of a kill mob with the top deck Gatling and mortar combo.
The mobs we don't see very much anymore.
Yes, well, the prevalence of the Goldfish, the Stormbreaker, a lot of the agile ships that just get past the Mobula's flanks, pop it, and then it becomes a sitting duck.
Yeah, and I think
Absurdly low mobility.
a lot of ships nowadays can also perform the same role. I mean, if we look at the Magnate, they also fill the function of a gunning platform that can just output a whole lot of fire.
And the unique trait of Mobula's vertical speed can be just easily defeated with a single Carronade. Hence, we don't see a lot of those nowadays. Of course.
Yeah, and Carronades
Blue
has
team-
been very prevalent this Crucible.
Yes, Blue Team already opting for one. And so is Red Team. In fact, both sides now have fish. Grant over, Red Fish now has Watcher. Was there a change announced for that, or am I missing something? Yep, there was. I'm wondering if Red Team is actually is going to seriously opt for this and give Blue Team a chance to score the one final victory for honor.
Goldfish
seriously
Mobula
going to
versus
opt for that
Goldfish
Mobula
Pyramidian.
approach?
It's
This
not
is
looking
gonna
too
be
good
interesting.
for Red Team.
Yeah.
However, I would say their teamwork has been on point this entire Crucible, so they might just be able to pull this off.
Yes, indeed. They've done extremely well this week. Successfully won all 4 matches with only 5-3s occurring, at the very least. Now, can I get everyone ready up? No, apparently not.
Alright, so Assault on Kinforth. An odd choice, actually. I didn't expect. Didn't think of this as of one of the popular maps. However, starting us off, we've got the fifth element, a goldfish piloted by Mosine. It's got a watch on the front. We're looking at a carronade on the right side, along with a double banshee. No, banshee flamer on the left side. Then we've got the FFS Defiance piloted by Fishy. It is a Hades mob, so Hades on top, lower deck Artemis, Gatling on the right side, and a Flak on the left. A very classic mobula.
Indeed. Now we have ship number 3. Recommend, piloted by Where Am I? It is a goldfish with a front blender, a side flamer, and a left side Gatling Banshee combo. And ship number 4 is the CS Pickling Buff, piloted by Treble. It's the Artling with the front Artemis Gatling and a side Flak, and I can't see from the chem spray carronade.
Alright, so
they're actually opting for the chem spray, countering any potential flamers or Hades fires they might be taking on.
yeah, fifth element moving really fast up here, trying to get those early spots.
Opting for a really aggressive push and then slowing down. I'm guessing they are expecting blue team to march forward quickly as well, because, well, they certainly, or they might be thinking they're gone south. Well, anyways, they are approaching blue team's position at the moment.
Yeah, I think they're trying to catch them off guard along the E line here, along the map. Just guarding that position.
Well, the fifth element itself got caught out of guard.
So they recommend getting one carronade shot in, however, not really getting that second one.
They still have the chance. Oh, the boop goes in. Here recommend no balloon. The Defiance, however, is dying itself. Artling currently charging in. They must be careful not to charge in too aggressively, however, because they can just go down like that.
There's a very split engagement right now as we're seeing the two fishes duke it out. And the Artling along with the Mobula.
The fish should be winning. Of course, it's all down to personal pilot skill, but anyways, Defiance is now currently in a pickle, and the Here Recommend coming to finish the job. Carronades go out, the Defiance is popped, and no Artemis, but the Defiance is basically now a gone ship.
Yeah, the double focus, that was just too much for them to handle when the Here Recommend made the beeline right back to the engagement. A really nice move, leaving the fifth element behind.
And the first kill for once goes to the rapid reflux.
Yes, they have to keep that in mind, the red team, for further engagements. They cannot leave the Mobula alone, or that fish just might as well come back at dangerous speeds, double teaming the Mobula.
They are kind of at a serious disadvantage taking that Mobula, because it can neither fight the goldfish effectively, nor can it fight the Artling effectively.
The Defiance back in now. The fish is spotted, however, the Defiance remains unspotted in the background here.
Spots once again go out on the fish. Blue team converging, taking their sweet time.
The Booth almost going for a bit of a flank here as the Here Recommend moves in to try and take some of the attention here.
First element's backing off. And the Booth is coming in. They have their sights set on currently the goldfish. Fifth element realizes double focus and now backs off. Meanwhile, Here Recommends now duking it out and now charging in to Defiance.
However, this time the fifth element is in the battle.
Oh,
but the Defiance taking a
90%.
massive ram.
Brutal destruction. The Defiance almost gone, and they lose their own balloon. The process. Perhaps the fifth element wants to repeat the process. No. Apparently not.
So we'll see now. Now the Booth comes in on the Defiance.
They booped the here recommended the rain, and the Defiance now gets booped into the rain. That rock right there.
Down goes the Mobula once again.
Burned. And the fifth element is once again left alone. They might find their allies wanting, but they have to flee. Now they are alone. The here recommends can't turn around because that's a smokestack behind them. Yeah, Terrain once again claiming the title of MVP. Fifth element attempts to run away, but now they're gonna have a bit of a harder time with less of a balloon. Granted, I was hoping for them to not have any balloon.
I mean, I think that's the goal. There's a lot of terrain you can't really go over here if you lose that balloon. Defiance now coming in from the back. They need to be careful not to be spotted here, because if they are in a prime position to get double focused right now.
However, they still are maintaining the balloon as carronade shots are infrequent and not accurate. And now they're out of arcs for the carronades. The Borf now losing an engine and a gun. 2 engines. Yep. Lost 2 engines.
Blue team so far completely ignoring the Mobula, which might prove deadly to them.
That, actually. That fish is... They're not having any particular luck dealing with the goldfish. I think the here recommend, however, realizes this and is now advancing towards the Defiance. And here we go once again, the boop ram. Oh,
but they don't have any hull for the ram.
That
so they take a whole lot of damage.
Quickly. Call an ambulance for them.
However, the Defiance needs to get that Gatling out unless they want to keep getting bullied here by the fish.
The Borf has no engines. Now they just lost their armor. The Borf is also not doing good. Grant's over. The goldfish now regaining control of the engagement, as Defiance is now attempting to assist with the finisher on the Borf. Once again, the ram is inbound. The ram is incoming, and it happens twice. Tears off the armor, and
down they go from an Artemis shot. All right, so fifth element alone again. That Mobula has had real trouble this game staying alive.
Well, yeah. Having no balloon has a tendency to null survival chances of the Mobula, especially against a blenderfish. Fifth element attempts to flee, loses armor, and has a couple of fire issues. Flax go out, one hits the balloon, nothing else.
Defiance back on the field, back in red spawn. However, we're all the way on the other side of the map right now.
And Mobulas are notoriously slow. So unless the fifth element makes their way back to their ally, it's gonna be a long time.
Fifth element playing a bit of hide and seek with the blue team. However, they have been found.
Well, they're watching for that. Knocking out 3 guns of the Borf. Meanwhile, the here recommend cannot assist with the issue because they're out of position.
Yeah, they're getting a good grip of the booth.
Perhaps the fifth element might actually be able to get a bit of perma on the thing. In fact,
however, now the pop should be coming in, and the ram comes in, and down they go.
The here recommends like a bull shark ramming into them. The Borf now on a third of its perma, though. Both of the blue ships are in a pickle.
Yeah, however, the Defiance in plain sight. I don't know if they should be displaying themselves like this.
It shouldn't be. It's also the last kill. If blue team manages to blitz them, it's gonna be over for them. Granted, no carronades. Still no carronades. They still go for the ram. The fish just ignoring all laws of logic, just going for the ram. I enjoy that, but no carronade equals issues. Grant's Defiance has no balloon again. And oh, they got the armor up just in time. Here recommend now double broken.
And the pickling booth coming in. And it seems like we've got a 5-0 on our hands.
Yes, Rapid Reflux steals the cake with 5-0.
Yeah, very close to being a 5-1 there.
Extremely close. That Mobula was the critical mistake. modern matchups don't have any mobilism. Now you see why. No, Artemis, no. That isn't
Alright,
what
so
happens.
Rapid Reflux win this Crucible. No, oh, I just read things out when they're put in front of me. Look at that.
No.
You fooled me.
Dare you? Well, anyways. We have indeed a clear winner, the Fish and Fish, having won 4 or 5 matches.
With some very dubious picks in the last match.
Yeah. In total, they have gained 20 points. Whereas the Rapid Reflux team is coming out this tournament with challenge. Rapid Reflux is coming out with with at least 6 points. If I can get that much. 6. Raiden. 14 points. So that is a 14 to 20 points wise.
Yeah, still decently close.
Yes, indeed.
Alright, so before we end, any last messages?
Yes, sign up for Crewcible.
Yeah, as always, so sign up for Crucible. SES tomorrow. Very much fun. Looking forward to that.
Yes, quite. Crucible will be coming up on skins next week. I, however, likely will be participating myself, so eyes open. Things might be interesting. Or not. Depending on the situation.
Yeah, so thank you everyone who came out here to check us out. And I've been DKR. With me has been Zennoch.
Yes, indeed. And have a good one.